Good day, everyone. I am Sir Sammy Guzman, grade level chairman of Kasiklan Village Elementary School Special Education Department. I am about to share the best practices of special education in our school during the new normal education or distance learning. I will share our best practices and hoping that some SPED schools may replicate meaningful activities and strategies that may be applicable in the context of their own schools. So what is the learning modality that we are using in special education? In school year 2020-2021, we actually adopted modular distance learning and radio-based instruction only. We don't have online distance learning. It is in accordance with the DepEd Results Division Memorandum Order number 303 series of 2020, also known as Learning Modalities for Kindergarten and Special Education Program. However, we are also doing online teaching for those who are capable and have means to sustain online learning. Like the regular modular distance learning, we are providing printed modules and worksheets. However, our printed materials are accompanied by video and audio lessons to be played in a radio or television. This is our radios and USB. We are so lucky because DepEd Rizal provided these radios and USBs for all our pupils in special education all over DepEd Rizal. Selected pupils in our school also receive tablet computers from SDO Rizal and from the local government unit in Rizal. The audio and visual materials, video materials can help facilitate the teaching and learning experience of children with special needs. Let's now proceed to our best practices. I divided the best practices of special education into 3 C's. Let's take a glimpse of those 3 best practices. The first C stands for contextualized curriculum. As we all know, there is a prescribed competency for special education. But these competencies are more applicable for children with intellectual disability. Aside from children with intellectual disability, we are catering 7 more categories of children with special needs. Technically, there is a need for contextualization and localization from the prescribed modules and worksheets given by the division office so that we could be able to cater the unique needs of our students. The second C stands for communication and collaboration. We know for a fact that learning is not unitary. It is dependent into multiple factors. Aside from teacher factor, we also need to consider the environmental factor, motivation, moods, parental involvement, and a lot more. Since we have a pandemic, we are obliged to adopt distance learning, and the presence of teachers is not visible. And the best partners that we can seek help from are the parents or guardians of our students. So we established open communication and collaboration to parents and external stakeholders. And lastly, the third C stands for creativity, research, and innovation. In special education, we are continuously creating low-cost materials because materials for special education is quite expensive. So we are producing alternative materials for them. We are also conducting different research activities in relation to the pedagogy and curriculum in our department. So let's talk more about our thesis. So how do we do contextualization in our curriculum? Even though we are in the distance learning, we still develop and followed the Individualized Education Program or IEP of our students. For public's information, IEP is a document that lays out the special education instruction, supports, and services that is specifically designed to suit the individual needs of the students in special education. We are contextualizing our curriculum in order for us to achieve individualized learning. Individualized learning is a method of teaching in which the content, the level of difficulty, and the pace of learning are based upon the abilities of the student. Yes, we are following the prescribed curriculum and modules as stipulated by DepEd Order number 21, series of 2020, also known as the Policy Guidelines on the Adoption of K-12 Transition Curriculum Framework for Learners with Disabilities. However, we are modifying the activities so that it would be suitable to the cognitive level of our students. In individualized learning, we are modifying the activities so that it would be more suitable for our learners. The other way of contextualizing our curriculum is through interest-led learning. So what is interest-led learning? Interest-led learning is letting the child's interest lead the learning process. This is based on the principle that students will learn best what interests them most. Parents were encouraged to add some additional learning objectives that are aligned to the interest of the students. Teachers and parents will collaboratively choose different objectives in this type of learning. Since the parents are our co-facilitators of learning, they can take note of what a child is curious about or enjoys doing. For example, the child is curious about planting because his mother is a plantita. Then the teacher may provide activities related to plants, maybe labeling the parts of the plants or telling stories related to plants. Interest-led learning objectives can be a goal for independent living, for leisure activities, or can be an income generating for family. As long as the activity of interest is upskilling the child's ability, then it is good for them. The child on your screen is Phoenix. He has a good name, and his name Phoenix symbolizes hope and rebirth. Just like the mythical bird that emerges from its ashes, this boy emerges and overcomes his disability. His interest is doing cosplay, costume playing. He can do ramp modeling and photo shoot as well. I actually featured him because his interest is extremely unique. In special education, we are finding the students' interests and level of their skills, and from that interest and skills, we are going to create competencies that they need to achieve. The second C is communication and collaboration. When the distance learning started up to the present, we established open communication to our internal and external stakeholders. We have the so-called Project Kumustahan. The purpose of this project is to reach out and sustain the continuity of open communication to all stakeholders. The Kumustahan will basically start from students and or parents to teachers, teachers to grade leaders to master teachers, and master teachers to school head. Every Friday, that is the cycle of data gathering of the Project Kumustahan. Furthermore, the project aims to address educational issues and hopefully answer the concerns of the stakeholders and provide technical assistance with the help of the school head and master teachers. Moreover, this program encourages collaboration among teachers to plan and work together to inspire, empower and support everyone, every day and every way to ensure the continuity of quality education through distance learning, even in these difficult times. We are reaching the parents and students via text message, phone call, FB Messenger, and Google Meet, depending on the time availability and the capacity of the parents. Through communication, we can share variety of information such as students' behavior, improvement or regression, and sort of problems with regards to learning materials. Another project under the communication and collaboration is the Project AKAP, which means Anak, Kumusta ang Pag-aaral? It is a home visitation program for learners who are not actively participating in school activities. And of course, the program is guided by a strict protocol for the safety and welfare of the teachers, such as the home visitation must be strictly well ventilated. There is a social distancing, wearing a face mask, and following the IATF guidelines. And majority of the students who are not actively participating in school activities are those who are in a far-flung areas with no internet connection and dead zone mobile networks. Here are some of the pictures of our teachers doing the Project AKAP. These muddy and rocky roads cannot hinder our teachers in delivering quality education. For the distribution and retrieval of modules, we have two schemes. First, we do have the house-to-house retrieval and distribution of modules. Alongside with home visitation, it's like hitting two birds with one stone. We can personally make conversation with the parents, plus the distribution and retrieval of modules and other materials. The second scheme is the meet-up. We are setting a place and time to meet parents in one place for distribution and retrieval, but still, along with this is the kumustahan with parents. Another program under the communication and collaboration is the Mission One Chat, which means one child at a time. The goal of this mission is to create meaningful connections among external stakeholders. The mission will inform the stakeholders regarding the current needs of special education department. I will feature some of the meaningful chats that we have had achieved in the Mission One Chat. The Sangguniang Kabataan of Barangay San Jose accepted our challenge to provide manipulatives and educational toys for our students. They gave 11 items of educational toys for 101 students of our school. We also made meaningful chats to the mayor of our municipality, and we received 101 Nutri package from them. And one engineering corporation in our place also accepted our challenge to provide spaghetti and rice package to 101 families of children with special needs. The third and last C is the creativity, research, and innovation. We do creation and curation of learning materials. So what is the difference between creation and curation of learning materials? In layman's term, creation is originally made by the teacher and curation is adopted materials but with minor modification. In special education, we have worksheets and learning materials bank in a form of FB page group, Google Drive, and Messenger. We are sharing the good materials that we had originally made or searched in the internet. These are the samples of curated learning materials for fine motor, crafts, and activities. Some of the ideas came from Pinterest and other sites for educational materials. All of the SPED teachers in our department are also creating instructional videos. On your screens are the sample videos that they made, and some of them are also a YouTube blogger. We also develop a research-based material for children with hearing impairment because, as we all know, some parents of learners with special educational needs are not competent in using sign language. So the module that we made has a comprehensive step-by-step procedure in interpreting the modules for their kids. Some SPED teachers also conducted a research titled Correlational Study among Parents' Demographic Profile, Level of Parental Involvement, and Pupils' Academic Performance in the Modular Distance Learning. And this research study gave birth to a project called Agapay, which stands for Aral na May Gabay Habang Nasa Pamamahay. The project issued quarterly infographics to showcase the different strategies of parents in managing the homeschooling of their child. It also conducted series of webinars to widen the options of the parents in handling their child's education at home. And lastly, a SPED teacher conducted a research titled Development, Validation, and Utilization of Localized Sensory Board for Learners with Special Educational Needs. The developed sensory board addressed some sensorial problems of learners with disabilities. So that is the 3 C's of best practices in special education: contextualized curriculum, communication and collaboration, creativity, research, and innovation. That would be all. Thank you for listening. I hope that you get some best practices that you can use or replicate in your own school. Good day, everyone. Thank you po.